Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about Venus transiting your sixth house in your natal chart. The average time, let's say that your house size is 30 degrees, the average time that Venus will be traversing your house will be 25 days on average if Venus is only direct during this time. Now, however, if Venus, let's say your house size is larger and or Venus goes retrograde at any point during this transit, then you'll be looking at a longer time that Venus will be transiting your sixth house. The first thing I look at, when Venus is transiting one's sixth house, this could indicate that you may be looking more for maybe bringing qualities of reconciliation, peace, harmony, compromise into your workplace. It could indicate that you want you might be striving for more of a rapport between you and fellow employees during this time as opposed to usual. This could be a period where you really might have an aversion more to maybe experiences that might be confrontational or combative at work. You may be really striving for peace at work during this time. And it could also indicate, in some cases, you might be able to strike up. Let's say you don't have a significant other or romantic partner at this time. You might be maybe going to strike up a relationship, perhaps with somebody that you work with, a fellow employee, perhaps. It could be somebody maybe that somehow is part of your daily routine. It could be perhaps maybe a person in the health industry, somebody that maybe works in health and fitness as a nutritionist, maybe somebody that's like a physician, that's a doctor. And the thing about this is, this could be a time where when you look maybe for it, say if you are unattached and you are looking for somebody that is a prospective significant other or a prospective or potential romantic partner, you might be more looking at them, trying to see their credentials and analyzing them a little bit more than usual. Keep in mind that this is the house of Virgo, and there might be more analysis connected with as far as what you're looking for. And you might be more prudent and cautious than usual in regards to going after perhaps somebody that is, as far as a potential romantic partner. It could also indicate that during this time, you got to remember that Venus is connected with money and the sixth house is associated with work. You probably figure, I'm always compensated whenever I work at my place of employment, so how would this impact me? It could be more auspicious than usual as far as money goes. It could indicate that perhaps you might get some raise, perhaps at the place where you work at. And it could, in some isolated cases, I think it could indicate that maybe you might get unanticipated funds, maybe for some unanticipated work that you didn't expect to do. It could even be outside of your ordinary place of employment. Or maybe at work, maybe you get some extra hours or some overtime if applicable. So there are some things to look at like that as far as Venus transiting your natal sixth house. And this could also indicate that perhaps you maybe, if you're unemployed, this could be a more propitious time as far as employment goes. But it could indicate too that, let's say if you don't have work right now, that maybe you might find work, perhaps, or money you might generate some income, maybe perhaps connected with something health related, perhaps maybe doing something with health and fitness. Selling health items, for example, could be another possibility. And you look at this too. And it could indicate that maybe you might even might wind up selling something that you have at home that might be health related and perhaps making money as far as that goes. You might have some old exercise equipment that you don't use, that just stagnant and just collecting dust, for example, and you might decide to sell that to somebody, like an exercise bike, for example. And it could indicate too that you might show a lot more feelings toward your pets if you do have them than you ordinarily do. So those are some things to look at as well. And it could indicate that you might put a little bit more money into yourself as far as your health goes. You might spend more money at this period perhaps on health related items, on things that are medical perhaps. And it really, you look at this too, and it also this could be something where you look at the sixth house, and the sixth house also, we know it's connected with the daily routine, and perhaps it indicates that maybe you might meet somebody if you're unattached, maybe during this time, maybe during your daily routine, something might come unexpectedly as far as a prospective romantic partner. Well, anyway, it's also important to look at the sign that Venus is in for either whether it's the majority or the whole time of that transit to the sixth house, as this could flavor this transit. For example, let's say that Venus is in Aquarius for either the majority or the whole time of the transit to the sixth house. Well, this could indicate perhaps you might meet someone that is unique, innovative, or eclectic at work. It might indicate a new relationship that might start with somebody that might embody those qualities. Now, another example, let's say that Venus is in Pisces for either the majority or the whole time of the transit to your sixth house. This could indicate you might be expressing maybe greater feelings of compassion toward your pets, and perhaps the love of self-sacrifice, which is Pisces, and of course at work and daily routine, which is the sixth house. Now, let's say it's important to look at the aspects that are made from this Venus transit in your sixth house to your natal planets and points during this transit, as this could impact the transit as well. Let's say, for example, that you have you transiting Venus in the sixth house is making a square in conjunct or opposition to your natal sun at some point. Well, this could indicate that perhaps your work relationships may conflict with what you want to do and with perhaps your basic wants during this time. Another example, let's say that transiting Venus in your sixth house is making a sextile or trine to your natal moon. Well, this could be auspicious perhaps for having a good rapport or relationship with the mother and women in general, and it could indicate perhaps this might be at least somewhat attributed to maybe a more peaceful and happier work environment and situation. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for Venus transiting the sixth house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about Venus transiting the seventh house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.